Hello, everyone. Apologies, my voice is low. There's someone I don't want to wake. River State Chief Magistrate George resigns, rejects the military administrator imposed by Tinubu. And this is Sahara Reporters, reporting this. He says just stated that he had spent 22 years in legal practice, dedicating 16 of those to the River State judiciary under several democratic governments. Ejike King George, a chief magistrate in the Rivers State Judiciary, has resigned from service, voicing his strong opposition to the state's current political leadership. And so this brings us to the conversation of what can we do? What can I do? We all can do something. The thing with us Nigerians is that we always don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to put ourselves out. We don't want to discomfort ourselves. We don't want to not be in our enjoyment galore zone. So anything that takes of a bit of hardship or whatever or sacrifice, we never do it. We would rather sit down tolerating whatever it is that needs to be tolerated and then not do the thing that needs to be done. At the end of the day, we end up suffering the suffer we say we don't want to suffer, and we suffer it more. We would rather wait until it happens to us before we take action rather than take action. See, so what he has done puts out everybody has something they can do. Imagine if people will collectively come together and say, we are not working this. That kind of sit at home, not the one that has been misused and bastardized, you understand, that are done in the other southeastern region called by IPOB. And no, that one is an abuse of that whole process. But imagine people down their tools and say, no, this military uh, administrator that has been imposed on us is unconstitutional, and we are not going to go by it. And they refuse to go to work. Guess what will happen? That's a protest in itself. Is the military administrator going to work on his own alone? Let him try it. Is he going to immediately say he's going to employ everybody, in that whole place to let him try it? There's something called institutional history, and it's very important because you can't work in a place effectively without its institutional history. There are people, there are processes, there are people who have been there for years who understand how different things are working in different areas, and so that's very important. This is ordinarily where one would love to have seen the NLC. Where is NLC? NLC is the one that has the capacity to be able to say to the workers, don't come out. We don't recognize this undemocratic government. You can't just come and impose something. NSA is nowhere to be found. It's only when it comes to minimum wage and increase in fuel. That's when NSC know that they have a union that they will come and to talk. But this action, I tell you, it's one of the ways to stand against things that are not done, the right way. It's not just to accept things and say, but what can I do? Yes, indeed, you can do something the same way that this chief magistrate has taken action and done something. In a letter dated April 11, 2025, an address to the Honorable Chief Judge of Rivers State through Secretary of the Rivers State Judicial Service Commission, Judge described the government style as incompatible with the values of the legal profession. This difficult and regrettable decision is informed largely by my discomfort with the recent appointment of a quasi-military administration to run the affairs of a modern state like ours, the letter read. He characterized the new administration as alien and antithetical to democratic principles upheld by the judiciary. Judge stated that he had spent 23 years in legal practice, dedicating 16 of those to the Rivers State Judiciary under several democratic government. And so he has worked all his time during the civilian rule, and then out of nowhere, you come in and impose a military rule, on a state. He said remaining in office would be tantamount to tacit and naive acquiescence. The resignation comes against the backdrop of the deepening political turmoil in Rivers State, culminating in the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara by the State House of Assembly. No, No, this is wrong here. The State House of Assembly did not suspend him. The State of Assembly started an impeachment proceeding by sending him a letter that they had gotten a petition against his whatever, those mismanagement, incompetence, and all of that, that they were going to do something. So they needed to have started the impeachment proceeding, but they never got to start the impeachment proceeding before Tinubu did his announcement to come and say that he had removed him, and then he put in, you know, a military administration. So that report there that he was suspended, no, he wasn't suspended, not to the best of my knowledge. But if there's something that I've missed, kindly go ahead, please, and correct me in the comment section. He said remaining in office will be tantamount to tacit and naive acquiescence. The resignation comes against the Okay, no, I've done that. The action was followed by heightened tension and security deployment across major government institutions. In response to the crisis, the Nigerian government imposed a state of emergency in the state, effectively handing over critical aspects of administration to military-style coordination. First of all, and the excuses that were given, that they were pipeline vandalization, and that was the reason why this this state of emergency was declared in Rivers State. The pipeline vandalization are still going on. So, like Atiku did ask Tinubu, when is he going to declare state of emergency on himself, on his disastrous leadership, and take himself out and bring a military? I'm adding this one now. So let him go and bring a military personnel to come and be the head of state while he takes himself out, because he has been more incompetent, more disastrous. Tinubu, that is, has been more incompetent, more disastrous in leadership than any other state governor out there. And there has been a lot of crisis, a lot of turmoil. Lives have not meant anything in Nigeria. And so when is he going to take action on those things also? So the segment continues. Thanks, my Lord, for the opportunity to serve, Judge concluded in his letter, which now resonates within wider atmosphere of legal and political unease in the state. It takes a lot of courage to be able to do this, and this is someone who is very courageous, who is very patriotic, who has character, who has integrity, who have places where he say he cannot negotiate his values. He's not going to sit down and do business in a place that he feels should absolutely not be in the kind of setting that shouldn't be, that is undemocratic and unconstitutional. And I say well done to him, and wishing him all the best, and I hope more Nigerians will be able to get this kind of courage to do the needful, because at the end of the day, our silence is what they depend on to continue to thrive and behave with such random recklessness. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.